Okay, in the previous videos in this playlist we created some simple adaptive components with reactor points, and I'm going to create another one using a circle, but instead of using a 2-point I'm going to use a 4-point, and we're going to use an angle parameter as well. So I'm going to go to Family, New. I'm going to go down to my generic model adaptive and open that up. I'm going to change the background here to be white. Okay, so this is going to be a 4-point, and I'm just going to zoom in here and I'm going to place 4 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I go ahead and window around these and make them adaptive, right, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to be kind of consistent about where you're placing your points. So if this is the front, you always want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, because this is how they come in when you place them. So you just have an idea for orientation. So I have these 4 points. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to connect them with lines that go all the way around them. So I'm going to come up to reference line, and in this case I'm going to want to draw on face and 3D snap. And this is because, we'll click that back, we want it to host to these points and not to a plane. So when you have draw on face selected and 3D snapping, it will host to that point no matter what plane it's on. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stop that, I can now pick that and move it up and down. If I undo that, so Control Z, back, and let's draw a reference line, and let's put it on face and get rid of the 3D snapping, and it's on the reference level if we go to draw on plane right here. So that means it's going to draw on this reference level. You can see it's highlighted. So I can come in and it will snap, right? Everything looks fine here, but it's actually hosting to that reference level instead of those points. It's snapping to the points because the points are coincident with the reference level, but you see when I move the points, that line does not move with it. Now, Control Z and bring that guy back down. If I move out, it's going to be a little hard to see. Let me make this a little bigger, or move it out here so you can see it. If I move this plane, that moves with it, right? It's hosted to that plane. So you have to be really careful about your hosting, just sort of a note there. Alright, so delete that, come back, draw my reference line, 3D snapping, go to face, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I want to have a circle that is in the center of this particular panel when it snaps. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to host 2 points that I can draw a line on to get the center of this. So if I go to point and I make sure it says draw on face, it will host to the item that I hover over. So you can see it hovering over that line. And if I left click, it will host to it. If I had, say, plane, you'll see how the point stays big. It's not hosting to that line when it's big. When it's on face, it gets small and hunkers down to that line. So make sure that it gets small and hunkers down to the line. Now I have 2 points that are hosted on those lines. So if I pick the point and move it, it won't move off that line. It's just hosted there. Now I can do the same thing that I did for the other points. Go to reference, line, 3D snapping, and I'll just 1, 2. Now I've got a line that goes, and I can define the middle of this by placing a point right there. Okay, so now I've got that guy. So I think that is good for now, and then in the next part we're going to draw a vertical line up here and create some parameters.